But whenever God wants to change a season, He gives an instruction that looks simple but carries deep spiritual authority. And this teaching on washing your face and your feet is that divine instruction for your restoration. The act of cleansing these two spiritual gates is not an ordinary action. It is a prophetic move that targets the exact places the enemy attacks when he wants to steal from a person's destiny. And as you learn what this cleansing truly does in the spirit realm, you will understand why restoration begins the moment your face and your feet are washed with salted water. In faith, your face is the first place the enemy targets when he wants to disconnect you from the favor and recognition that God placed upon your life. I will continue using this space, this channel, Joshua Selman Wisdom, to open your eyes to the spiritual battles you have been fighting without knowing. Because many of you do not realize that something precious was taken from you. Your joy, your glory, your opportunities, your direction. And now heaven is calling you to restore everything that was stolen from your life. So many people walk through life feeling empty, lost, or delayed, not understanding that the enemy works silently, stealing favor, blocking paths, and dimming the light that God placed on their identity. But whenever God wants to change a season, He gives an instruction that looks simple but carries deep spiritual authority. And this teaching on washing your face and your feet is that divine instruction for your restoration. The act of cleansing these two spiritual gates is not an ordinary action. It is a prophetic move that targets the exact places the enemy attacks when he wants to steal from a person's destiny. And as you learn what this cleansing truly does in the spirit realm, you will understand why restoration begins the moment your face and your feet are washed with salted water. In faith, your face is the first place the enemy targets when he wants to disconnect you from the favor and recognition that God placed upon your life. Spiritually, the face represents identity, glory, visibility, and honor. And when these areas are attacked, you begin to experience strange rejection, constant disappointment, sudden losses, and opportunities slipping through your fingers without explanation. Many people do not realize that their face has been spiritually covered, dimmed, or veiled through jealousy, witchcraft, monitoring spirits, or evil declarations made against their image. When your face is covered, you walk through life unseen by people who were meant to bless you, support you, and open doors for you. You become invisible in places where you should shine. This is why the prophetic act begins with washing the face. It is the cleansing of the identity gate, the restoration of the spiritual glow, and the returning of every blessing tied to your name and your presence. When the enemy steals your glory, he does not take it in a dramatic or obvious way. He steals it slowly by making your spirit appear dull. Your confidence shrinks and your divine shine disappears. You begin to look in the mirror and feel like something in you has faded, even though you cannot explain it in natural words. People who used to notice you suddenly stop paying attention. Individuals who once admired or respected you start treating you with distance or coldness. The heaviness sitting on your face becomes a spiritual burden that affects your mood, your energy, your motivation, and even your ability to connect with others. Washing the face with salted water is a direct attack against this invisible heaviness. It removes spiritual dust, wipes away evil fingerprints placed on your identity, and restores the radiance that jealousy, envy, and witchcraft tried to steal from you. Salt is a powerful spiritual restorer, and when it touches your face, it begins to call back everything connected to your identity that was taken away. It restores honor, attracts favor, and breaks the power of every negative word spoken against your appearance, your confidence, and your future. Water, on the other hand, symbolizes cleansing, renewal, and rebirth. When salt and water come together, they form a spiritual solution that dismantles every veil, mask, and shadow placed over your glory. This is why washing your face is not merely symbolic, it is a prophetic cleansing that disconnects you from every spiritual attack that made you feel unseen, undervalued, or unworthy. As the water runs down your face, it carries away every trace of spiritual dimness and restores the brightness of your true identity. There are people whose lives have been delayed for years, not because they lack talent, intelligence, beauty, or effort, but because their face has been spiritually tampered with. Every blessing that should have located them missed them. Every helper who was meant to lift them walked past them. Every door that should have opened remained closed because the face that was meant to be recognized was spiritually hidden. When the face is washed with salted water, this hiding is broken instantly. It forces your destiny influences to remember you, your opportunities to rise again, and your favor to follow you everywhere you go. You will begin to notice that people start responding to you differently, as though something new and powerful has awakened in your presence. Washing the face first is essential because restoration starts with the return of your glory. Once your identity is restored, the spiritual fog lifts, the confusion breaks, and the heaviness disappears. You begin to walk with a new boldness, a renewed confidence, and a sharper awareness of who you are spiritually. Your inner light begins to shine so strongly that no witchcraft, jealousy, or monitoring spirit can hide you again. This cleansing prepares the way for every blessing that is supposed to return to your life. It is the first step toward complete recovery, and without it, the restoration process remains incomplete. Once the face is restored, the journey of your destiny can begin to realign. And this leads directly into the washing of the feet. Your feet represent the journey of your life, the direction of your destiny, the speed of your progress, and the doors that open before you spiritually. The enemy attacks the feet when he wants to keep a person stuck, delayed, confused, or trapped in cycles that drain their energy and waste their years. You may notice that you work hard but see no results. You start things but never finish, or you feel like life is moving forward for everyone else except you. These are signs that the feet, your spiritual movement, have been tampered with. This is why after restoring your identity through washing the face, the next restoration must happen at the level of your feet. Without cleansing the feet, your path remains blocked, even if your glory has returned, because glory needs movement in order to manifest. When a person's feet are spiritually attacked, their destiny becomes full of obstacles that do not make sense in the natural world. Doors close without explanation. Opportunities vanish suddenly. Breakthroughs delay for years, and relationships meant to elevate you collapse without warning. You may feel like you are walking in circles, repeating the same struggles and facing the same disappointment over and over. This is not ordinary bad luck. It is a spiritual restriction placed on your feet to prevent your destiny from progressing. Washing the feet with salted water breaks these invisible chains. It removes the unseen barriers and clears the blockages that were planted to slow down your journey. It allows your steps to move again with purpose, clarity, and power. Salt begins to reclaim the ground you lost, ground that was stolen through manipulation, witchcraft, envy, generational curses, or evil surveillance. Every place your feet should have entered but couldn't begins to open again. Every opportunity you should have walked into but were blocked from begins to return. Water washes away the dust of past disappointments, failed seasons, painful journeys, and missteps that diverted you from your destiny. Together, salt and water restore the purity of your spiritual path and reset the direction of your life back to the route God originally designed for you. Washing the feet is not just cleansing, it's rerouting your destiny back into divine alignment. There are people whose blessings have been buried on the path they were meant to walk. They are always at the right place at the wrong time, or at the wrong place at the right time. This is a spiritual attack on timing and placement, both of which are controlled by your feet. Washing the feet breaks every spiritual trap set on your path, destroys every delay attached to your progress, and exposes every diversion meant to lead you away from your elevation. It also cuts off every spiritual footprint that enemies or jealous individuals placed on your path to track your movements or interfere with your advancement. Once these footprints are erased, you become spiritually untraceable to every force that once used your past paths to attack your future. Your journey becomes protected, covered, and guarded by divine light. Feet washing also cleanses the emotional weight that has been attached to your journey. Many people carry silent burdens from disappointments, heartbreaks, losses, and betrayals that happened along their path. These emotional weights create spiritual heaviness that slows movement and makes the future feel uncertain or frightening. But as the salted water touches your feet, it not only cleanses the physical surface, but also uproots the spiritual weight tied to your past steps. You begin to feel lighter, more hopeful, and more courageous. The road ahead no longer feels intimidating. The fear of the unknown begins to dissolve because your spirit senses that your steps are finally aligned with divine purpose. Once the feet are washed, a powerful acceleration begins. Doors that were closed start to open. Opportunities that were delayed begin to move toward you. People who are part of your destiny begin to appear. You will notice alignment, right people, right timing, right environment, all falling into place effortlessly. This acceleration is not accidental. It is a direct result of cleansing the spiritual gateway of movement. Your feet become blessed, ordered, and divinely guided. Your journey becomes smoother, your decisions become clearer, and your progress becomes unstoppable. This is why washing the feet completes the restoration that began with the face. Because once your identity is restored and your path is purified, nothing in the spiritual realm can block what God has prepared for your life. When you begin the activation by washing your face, you are not simply performing a physical cleansing, you are declaring a spiritual rebirth over your identity. As the salted water touches your skin, you are prophetically announcing that every shadow, every veil, every mask placed upon your face must lift. You are calling back your stolen glory, your forgotten honor, your suppressed confidence, and your hidden favor. You are breaking the power of every spiritual force that dimmed your light, misrepresented your personality, or disconnected you from the blessings attached to your name. In that moment, you are reintroducing yourself to the spiritual world, no longer as someone covered, but as someone restored and rising. As you continue washing the face, the restoration becomes deeper. You are spiritually commanding everything connected to your identity to return to you multiplied. Your respect, your visibility, your relationships, your influence, your beauty, and your sense of self-worth. Your face becomes a prophetic altar of recovery, sending a message into the unseen realm that your season of humiliation, rejection, and invisibility has ended. The salted water carries away every trace of shame, confusion, insecurity, and emotional scars that dimmed your glow. You begin to feel a shift in your spirit because your identity gate has now been reopened, allowing the flow of blessings that were previously blocked through the attacks on your image. Then when you move to the washing of the feet, you transition from identity restoration to destiny restoration. The feet represent your next step, your progress, your movement, your journey, and your future. As the salted water runs over your feet, you are spiritually declaring that your path must open, your delays must break, your stagnation must end, and your destiny must move with divine speed. You are cleansing every negative footprint left by past disappointments, mistakes, betrayals, or spiritual attacks. You are wiping away every mark that enemies use to track, slow, or block your journey. In that moment, your feet become empowered to walk into blessings that once felt unreachable. The combination of washing both the face and the feet creates a dual restoration field around your life, a spiritual force that addresses both where you are and where you are going. The face restores your identity. The feet restore your destiny. The face recovers your glory. The feet recover your journey. The face brings back favor. The feet open doors for that favor to manifest. When these two gates are cleansed together, the enemy loses the two major access points he uses to steal from people. No longer can he manipulate your identity or intercept your path. No longer can he dim your glory or block your steps. The activation seals your entire life with spiritual correction and divine protection. This final activation is what triggers total restoration. Everything that was taken spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationally, and physically begins to return to you with force. Your atmosphere shifts. Your life gains momentum. Your blessing. G's begin to locate you without delay. You will notice changes in the way people respond to you, in the opportunities that appear unexpectedly, and in the clarity that surrounds your decisions. Washing the face awakens who you truly are. Washing the feet aligns you with where you are supposed to be. Together they create a powerful spiritual reset that forces your stolen blessing to come back multiplied, ensuring that your restoration becomes permanent and unstoppable after the washing of the face and the feet. One of the first signs you will feel is a sudden lightness in your spirit, as though a heavy weight that you have carried for years had been silently lifted. This is because the spiritual burdens that were attached to your identity and your journey lose their power once the cleansing is complete. You may notice a calmness settling over you, a sense of clarity returning to your mind, and an unexpected peace entering your heart. This is the evidence that restoration has begun, not through effort, but through divine intervention, responding to your obedience. The spiritual atmosphere around you shifts, preparing the way for blessings that have been waiting to re-enter your life. Soon after, you will begin to witness tangible signs of recovery. Messages from people you thought had forgotten you, opportunities that had dried up suddenly resurfacing, and delayed blessings finding their way back to you. This is not coincidence. It is restoration in motion. The cleansing of the face causes people to see you differently, respond to you differently, and treat you with a new level of honor. The cleansing of the feet opens the paths so that blessings can now reach you without hindrance. These two forces working together produce undeniable change, confirming that the spiritual gates of favor and progress have been reopened over your life. Your dreams may also begin to shift. Beko, mean clearer, more meaningful, and more prophetic. Instead of confusing or disturbing dreams, you may start seeing visions of open doors, bright lights, new paths, and breakthroughs. These are spiritual signals indicating that your destiny is aligning again, and that the blockages that once interfered with your dream life have been removed. Many people receive guidance, warnings, or confirmations in their dreams after the cleansing, because the spiritual noise that once blocked divine communication has been washed away. Your ability to hear, sense, and discern spiritual messages becomes sharper, ensuring that you no longer walk blindly into danger or delay. You will also notice changes in how people perceive your presence. Individuals who once ignored you will suddenly show interest. People who once dismissed you will begin to respect your voice. Where you once felt invisible or overlooked, you will now feel seen and acknowledged. This is the power of restored glory. Your face begins to shine spiritually, and your presence becomes magnetic. It draws support, admiration, and opportunities because your identity is no longer hidden. And as your feet guide you into new environments and divine connections, the restoration becomes visible not just spiritually, but in every practical area of your life. Another sign of restoration is alignment. Right people, right timing, right decisions. You will find yourself being drawn into spaces that elevate you rather than drain you. Your steps will naturally avoid the traps and toxic environments that once stole your energy and peace. You will begin meeting individuals who carry answers, opportunities, and wisdom for your next season. Doors that were long shut will begin to open effortlessly. This alignment is a result of your feet being cleansed, because once your path is purified, your destiny begins attracting what belongs to you without struggle. This is the moment where you begin to realize that restoration is not an event. It is a journey that unfolds with divine precision. As restoration deepens, you will become spiritually protected in ways you did not expect. The cleansing seals the gates that the enemy used to access your life, making it impossible for the same attacks to repeat. Cycles of loss, disappointment, betrayal, and stagnation begin to break permanently. You will feel a new level of spiritual stability, as though God Himself is standing guard over your journey. This protection ensures that your restored blessings will not be stolen again, and that the restoration you receive will not be temporary but lasting and secured by divine power. Your spiritual sensitivity will also increase. You will start noticing things you previously ignored. Subtle warnings, divine nudges, and spiritual shifts in the atmosphere around you. Your discernment becomes sharper, helping you recognize hidden enemies, false relationships, and deceptive opportunities before they cause damage. You gain wisdom in choosing where to go, who to trust, and what to pursue. This heightened awareness is a gift of restoration, ensuring that you do not walk into traps or lose what God has returned to you. It strengthens your spiritual foundation and equips you for the seasons of elevation ahead. You will begin to walk with a new boldness that is impossible to fake. This boldness is not arrogance. It is the confidence of someone who has been spiritually restored and re-established. You will no longer hesitate to step into rooms you once felt unqualified for, or pursue opportunities you once felt were out of reach. Your restored identity will push you forward, and your restored feet will guide you into places designed for your blessing. This boldness becomes a testimony to others, showing that spiritual restoration is real, powerful, and transformative. It shifts the way you carry yourself, speak, and make decisions. As your restoration becomes evident, it is important to share this teaching so that others who are silently suffering can also experience their breakthrough. There are people whose lives are held hostage by hidden blockages, spiritual coverings, or destiny attacks, and they do not know what to do. By sharing the message, you become a vessel of light and liberation in their lives. You give them access to a truth that can free them from years of delay, pain, and spiritual oppression. Restoration multiplies when it is passed on, and your testimony can become the key that unlocks someone else's healing and rebuilding. This is your season of return and recovery, and nothing stolen from you will remain lost. The cleansing of your face has restored your glory, and the cleansing of your feet has reopened your destiny path. Every blessing that drifted away is now finding its way back to you. Every opportunity that delayed is now accelerating. Every door that was closed is now opening. You will walk forward with strength, clarity, and divine guidance, and your life will begin to reflect the fullness of God's restoration power. You are stepping into a new chapter where your identity is honored, your steps are ordered, and your blessings flow without resistance. This is total restoration, and it belongs to you now. Let the restoration continue to unfold in your life, because when God begins a work, He completes it. This is not a temporary shift. It is a permanent repositioning. You must understand that the enemy does not give up easily. He will try to test the restoration to see if it is truly settled. But the seal that has been placed upon your life through this prophetic act is divine and cannot be broken by human or spiritual interference. Your face, now cleansed, carries a radiance that repels darkness. Your feet, now washed, walk on ground that has been sanctified for your progress. You are walking in a new dimension of grace where obstacles crumble before you and favor meets you at every turn. Pay close attention to the divine connections that begin to form around you. People who are meant to be in your life for this new season will find you. They will recognize the light on your face and the purpose in your steps. Conversations will shift from casual to catalytic. Relationships will move from superficial to strategic. You will find yourself in circles of influence, not by struggle, but by divine appointment. This is the restoration of your network, the realignment of your community. Every lonely season, every period of isolation was preparing you for this moment where you would be surrounded by heaven, sent helpers and friends. The bitterness of past betrayals will lose its taste because your focus will be on the new wine relationships God is bringing into your life. Furthermore, your creativity and ideas will experience a sudden surge. What felt blocked and stagnant in your mind will begin to flow with innovation and clarity. Solutions to old problems will dawn on you with ease. Projects you abandoned will stir with new life. This is the restoration of your vision and your mental capacity. The heaviness that clouded your thinking has been washed away, and now your mind can partner clearly with the Spirit of God. You will dream bigger, plan wiser, and execute with a precision that surprises even you. Do not dismiss these sudden ideas and inspirations. They are seeds of the future harvest that is now returning to you. Also, expect the restoration of time. This is a profound mystery, but a very real promise. The years that the locusts have eaten, the seasons that felt wasted and lost, God is restoring to you. You will notice an acceleration in your achievements. What should take years will happen in months. What should take months will happen in weeks. You will look back and be amazed at how much ground you have recovered in such a short period. This is the divine compensation for every delay. Your cleansed feet are now walking in Kairos time, God's appointed opportune time, where destiny catches up with you rapidly. Missed opportunities will often come back around in a better form at the perfect moment. Your health and vitality are also part of this covenant of restoration. That chronic fatigue, that persistent ache, that low energy that doctors could not fully explain, it was often tied to a spiritual burden. As that burden lifted from your face and feet, you may feel a renewed vigor, a strength returning to your body, a better quality of sleep, and a general sense of well-being. This is the restoration of your temple. Your body is responding to the peace that now resides in your spirit. The joy of the Lord is becoming your strength in a very tangible way. Finally, guard this restoration with gratitude and obedience. Do not return to the old wells, the old habits, the old conversations that drained your glory and hindered your path. Your cleansed state is a sacred trust. Maintain it with prayer, with the word, and with a heart that is quick to forgive and release. As you steward this new place well, God will entrust you with more. The restoration is not just for you to consume, but for you to become a conduit of blessing to others. Your testimony will make room for you and bring healing to many. You are now a living proof of a restoring God. So walk in this reality. Speak from this place of restoration. Declare that your face shines with the glory of God, and that your feet are beautiful upon the mountains, carrying good news. The season of mourning is over. The season of reclaiming and rejoicing has begun. Every day from now on is a step deeper into the fullness of what was always meant for you. Welcome to your restoration. It is here. It is now. It is yours. Your restoration is not a fragile gift easily snatched away. It is a kingdom decree permanently stamped upon your life by the authority of heaven itself. This means that the changes you are beginning to feel are not fleeting emotions, but the very foundations of your life being reset on solid ground. The enemy's whispers that this won't last or it's too good to be true are the final echoes of a defeated system trying to regain a foothold. Do not entertain them for a moment. The prophetic act of cleansing has established a new spiritual perimeter around you, and inside this perimeter, the rules have changed. Here, favor is your default, alignment is your norm, and acceleration is your new pace. Expect a restoration of authority in your words. The words you speak will begin to carry a new weight and creative power. Where your declarations once felt like they hit an invisible ceiling, they will now pierce through spiritual atmospheres and manifest tangible change. This is because your identity, your face, has been cleared of the distortions that muffled your voice. You will find courage to speak up in situations where you once stayed silent. You will find clarity to declare God's promises over circumstances that once seemed impossible. Your tongue is being restored as an instrument of blessing and a weapon of spiritual warfare, because it is now connected to a heart and a face that are radiating truth. Furthermore, your finances and resources are being drawn into this current of restoration. This is about more than just money. It's about the full restoration of your stewardship and the divine flow of provision meant for your life's assignment. You may witness sudden, unexpected avenues for increase opening up. Ideas for generational wealth will become clear. Debt that seemed permanent may find surprising solutions. This is the cleansing of your feet at work, unblocking the paths where provision and opportunity travel to reach you. Money is a spirit, and it flows along spiritual paths. Your cleansed feet have cleared those paths of thorns and blockages. You are now positioned in the flow of divine economy, where your needs are met not by anxiety but by alignment. Also, prepare for the restoration of your spiritual hunger and passion. A renewed, insatiable desire for God's presence and His word will begin to burn within you. The dryness, the distraction, the spiritual lethargy that made prayer feel like a chore, these are being washed away with the old dust. You will wake up with a thirst for communion. You will find scriptures leaping off the page and speaking directly to your situation. Worship will become a deep, personal encounter, not just a routine. This is the most vital sign, because it means the restoration is touching the core of your relationship with God. Your first love is being rekindled, and from this place, every other area of restoration will flow and be sustained. Watch for the restoration of family lines and fractured relationships. The enemy often attacks identity and destiny at the root. Through family, the cleansing of your face and feet doesn't just affect you. It sends healing ripples backward into your past and forward into your future generations. You may find old family wounds, cycles of dysfunction, or patterns of lack beginning to lose their grip. You might receive a call from a relative where healing conversation becomes possible. This is because you have been cleansed and repositioned as a repairer of the breach in your lineage. Your restored identity becomes a lighthouse, calling scattered and hurting family members toward wholeness. Your ordered steed. P.S. Create a new blessed path for those who come after you to follow. As you continue in this journey, remember that your posture must be one of receiving. You cannot strive for or earn what God is freely restoring. Your role is to walk in obedient faith, to guard your heart with thanksgiving, and to extend the same grace you've received to others. The enemy's last tactic will be to make you feel unworthy of this sudden shift, to tempt you to sabotage it by returning to old mindsets. Stand firm. You are not who you were. Your face is cleansed. Your feet are washed. You are walking in a new name, on a new road, under an open heaven. This is your established reality. From this day forward, you are a living testament of restoration. Your very life is a message that nothing is too far gone for God to recover. Walk in this truth, speak from this victory, and watch as everything that was meant for you finally finds its way home. The story of your life is being rewritten from a place of loss to a narrative of overwhelming recovery. This is the power of the prophetic cleanse. This is your season of total reclamation. It continues now, and it will continue for all the days of your life. This divine restoration is not confined to a single moment. It is an ongoing, ever unfolding reality that will continually reveal new layers of your destiny. The initial shift you experienced was the awakening, like the first rays of dawn breaking a long night. Now you move into the full light of day, where every detail of the landscape of your life becomes visible and ready to be possessed. The momentum you feel is not a fleeting surge of emotion. It is the sustained power of a spiritual tide that has turned permanently in your favor. This tide will carry you into harbors of purpose you could not previously navigate toward, bringing you to the exact destinations ordained for you before time began. Your discernment will sharpen to a profound degree. You will begin to perceive not just right and wrong, but the very motives and spiritual assignments behind people and situations. This is a crucial part of your restoration, the gift of divine navigation. Where you once walked into ambushes or toxic alliances, you will now sense a holy caution or a divine green light. With stunning clarity, this discernment will protect the glory on your face and the progress of your feet. It will feel like a spiritual immune system, repelling what would harm you and attracting what will heal and advance you. Trust this new sensitivity. It is the Spirit of God, the ultimate restorer, now speaking freely through a channel that has been cleared of static and interference. Furthermore, expect a restoration of joy that is completely unshakable. This is not a happiness dependent on circumstances, but a deep artesian well of joy that springs from the core of your restored identity. It will baffle those around you. In moments where the natural evidence might suggest worry, you will feel a supernatural peace. In seasons of pressure, you will discover a reservoir of lightness and praise. This joy is your strength and your weapon. It confuses the enemy's camp and magnetizes the blessings of heaven. The heaviness that once sat on your countenance has been replaced with a glow that originates from a heart at rest in its restored position. This joy will make your journey pleasant, even when the path is challenging. Your sphere of influence is also being recalibrated and expanded. The enemy's attack on your face was meant to minimize your impact, to keep your light under a basket. Now that basket has been removed. You will find platforms and opportunities to speak, lead, and influence emerging in unexpected places. Do not shrink back. The restored glory on your life is not for you alone. It is to illuminate the path for others. Your voice will carry authority in your workplace, your community, and your home. Your very presence in a room will shift atmospheres because you now carry the tangible evidence of a God who restores. This is the return of your God-given dominion. A beautiful and practical sign of this ongoing restoration is the divine recovery of lost items, lost documents, or lost connections. In the natural, this will seem like fortunate coincidence. In the spirit, it is a physical manifestation of the principle of restoration at work. Just as salted water cleansed the gates, it is now calling back to you what was lost, stolen, or misplaced in the natural realm. These small recoveries are confirmations, love notes from heaven, assuring you that the process is active and thorough. They are tangible pledges of the greater recoveries happening in the unseen. Recovered time, recovered peace, recovered destiny. Finally, understand that this process sanctifies your expectations. You will no longer be content with the crumbs of survival. Your spirit, now aligned with heaven's blueprint, will begin to expect and attract wholeness, excellence, and abundance in every facet of life. You develop a holy intolerance for compromise, for broken systems, and for relationships that drain your anointing. This is not arrogance. It is the alignment of your standards with God's standards for your life. You are being restored to the original design, and that design is flawless victory, ours, and overflowing with purpose. So move forward each day with the conscious awareness that you are a restored being. Let this truth be the compass for every decision, the foundation for every prayer, and the lens through which you view your future. The season of petitioning for restoration is transitioning into a season of possessing and stewarding the restoration. You are not just hoping for a miracle, you are now living inside of one. The cleansing was the key. The open door is before you. Walk through it with the confidence of one whose face shines with unborrowed light and whose feet are planted on the highway of holiness. Your best days are not behind you, they are unfolding before you with each cleansed and ordered step. The restoration continues. It is your new permanent address. Welcome home.